It's on. We are on.
Hey.
Hey. So, dear MiMi, the reason I wanted to call this talk, this discussion, was that I realized that many women that you are working with, that you are addressing, are going through this hardship that I was going through in my own business. And that is honing in to your uniqueness. So this is where the intention came from, the intention to have this conversation. I was reading your website and it felt so inspiring to me. Like I felt I was flying. It was so much joy and delight. And I said, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want my website to be. And so I was very inspired by it. And then I heard you in a video saying you can copy whatever you see on my website. And I felt that was so generous of you. I never heard anyone saying that. And I said, okay, so if she's giving permission, let me see what I can do to adapt somehow, you know? So I did that, but something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel, because inevitably you will use some of the words that you use that I felt inspired by and that I think are matching my message. But then, you know, I looked at it and I said, this is not me. This is MiMi. So I was so grateful that you gave permission, you know, but on the other hand, you are also very much talking about being unique, being you in your message. So what I realized for me was a great realization, you know, because for me, words are important. I'm always looking to make them very clear and to be very aligned. And so it was important for me to get this right, to get my website right. So the lesson here for me was that if you're inspired by something, it doesn't mean that's your voice.
No.
So, and what I realized for myself was that, wait, let me just, you know, lean back and take a look at what do I actually want? What do I like to do? And I realized it's videos. So I don't want a lot of text on my website. I like video. I want to talk directly to the people, and that's my way. That was such a huge joy that I got to. But first, I had to see that what inspires me is not necessarily my own voice. It doesn't look like it. So
exactly.
that was a revelation for me, really. And I thought that many of the women that you are talking to as a high ticket offer coach, business coach, would like to hear this, because I know they struggle. If I'm struggling, you are struggling, and nobody out there, from what I've seen, is talking about how do you hone into that uniqueness, because it's a process. It's definitely a process, and people don't really say that. It's like a big kept secret, and it's digging for the gold. That was my experience. So what would you say to that?
Well, I love that you brought this up, because the reason why I really let people take whatever they want from my website, and I always say, use your own voice, because the thing that sparks that activation in you from somebody else's words it's something that is already you, but it's not your voice. And that's why you connect to it, because you never connect to something that's not already you. But you have to use your own voice to say it. And what we do is that when you tap into somebody else's activation, like on their website, without leaning first into your intuition, you're going to copy the words. And the words mean nothing outside of their own intuition.
Wow.
Okay? So
Yeah.
when you look at a website and you're inspired, or a picture or a video, or you see a post on Instagram and you look at it and say, oh my God, why can't I write Instagram posts like that? It's because you can, but you haven't tapped into your intuition to learn your own words. So you don't know your voice. So until you connect first to your intuition and then connect to your body, to what feels good and pleasurable for you. Because that person was writing from their pleasure. What is your pleasure? Once you identify that intuitive pleasure, then you can process how you want your message to be. Do you want it copyrighted on a sales page? Do you want it on a YouTube video? Do you want that message sparkling on Instagram? Or do you want it on Facebook? So it's not the platform per se. It is how much pleasure do I want? And that's the pleasure that you come from. It expresses itself through your chosen medium. So
Wow.
that's how that works. And so I always invite people to, that's why my program is Divine Intuitive, because it's always, always intuition first. If you don't use intuition, it's never you. It's never you. It's something you enjoy, something you love, something that inspires you, but it wouldn't inspire you if it wasn't already inside of you. And that's what we forget. So we think this person's amazing. I want to be like them or sound like them. You already are like them. That's why you connect to them. But you just say it differently. And it's time for you to go inside and just be quiet for a minute and say, how does it feel in my body? Where are the pleasure points for me? And then it'll start to come. Trust that it's going to come to you. Trust that the lessons you're meant to learn will show up in your own voice, in your own words, so you can tell your people what you want to tell them.
Wow, I love that you brought this up in this way. That's so enlightening, because until now, I always thought that, and I told you this, that I've done my website 100 times before, because I thought, oh, this is it. This is the person that inspired me. So this is how I want my website to be. And then another one, and then I get to another one, up to the point when I said, wait, but this is not working. I can't just change my website every time I get inspired by someone.
Yeah, you can.
It's like, I have to find my own voice. So what do I like? What's easy for me? What makes me joyful about this work? So for me, it was like, I felt there were tiny, tiny baby steps and digging until I got to this maybe resonance with the truth of what I'm here to do. I'm sure this is also part of, and also, yes, find my voice, my own voice, know my voice. That's what you said, and I liked it so much. We don't know our voice.
No.
So it's a process. It's a process, and this process definitely goes faster when you have a coach to help you get that voice out, to help you be bold in speaking your own words, your own mind, whatever comes through.
I think we step into a world when we start our business and we think there's a right way to do this and there's a wrong way to do this. That's what we come into it thinking.
Exactly.
And we think we're going to find our savior, this one coach or 2 or 10.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking to this. It's like, oh my God, I've been through this.
Who are going to give us the thing, the strategy, the blueprint, the roadmap that is going to get us to arrive and get the outcome that we want. And it's kind of like when just the same thing, clients come to you, they come to me and they think, oh, yes, now save me, give it to me, tell me what to do. And it's kind of like, well, no, in coaching, I don't need to tell anyone what to do. I wish I knew what to tell you. If I knew what to tell you, I wouldn't be a coach. I would be, I don't know what I would call myself, but I'll be floating on some map somewhere like Aladdin. On the magic
goddess.
I'll have a magic lamp and I'll just say, rub it, and let the genie tell you what to do. But as a coach, it's like, you know what to do. You just are not doing it. So the thing you have to figure out is, why am I silencing my voice and speaking through her words? And ask yourself that. And ask yourself, what about that thing or that word or that video activates me? And what does it activate inside of me? Because the thing that it activates inside of you is the assignment you're called to be in the world. And then when it activates that thing inside of you, it's kind of like, well, how do I learn my own way? And that's the guidance of the coach. That's what the videos are for. That's what the websites are for. That's what all the messages for, is to dial into that thing that you are aspiring to be, but it's not a place to get to or to arrive to or to be. It is a journey of learning your own way and trusting your intuition and connecting to the feelings in your body that are so foreign because you've never used your own voice. You've never had to. Business is the first place that we have to. There's no way else in life that we have to. It's business that allows you to connect, because even when you become a parent, you start to be like your mom or your grandmother. You read a book and try to be like what the doctor who has a PhD in parenting says. So business is the one place where you get to take 100% responsibility for you, and 100% accountability to love yourself, to nurture yourself, to hear yourself. No, if you don't hear yourself, nobody could hear you or listen to you. And if you don't give yourself the space to listen to your voice, you cannot hear your client's voice.
Wow. Hold on a minute. Just let's contemplate this. This was really beautiful and deep. So you said if you can't listen to your own voice, others cannot listen to you. That's true also?
That's true. It's all true. So if you cannot hold space for yourself, to hear your own voice. You cannot hold space to hear somebody else's voice who's in your presence. You can't. It's the same way about visibility. If you cannot hold space for yourself to show up and be visible, you will never allow your clients to be visible in your presence. It's selfish. It's selfish. So until you learn to hear your voice, and that's why it's good to silence the phone. It's good to take that time away and just be. And just, whether it's meditation or just quiet time, really just be with yourself, because there's so much noise in the world. Some of it is good noise, the stuff that activates us and excites us and turns us on. But where is it turning you on? In your mind? That's ego. Because what we're doing is we're getting turned on by things that we think are going to work for us. That's ego. It eventually runs out. What we need to focus on is connect to our body, connect to our feelings, connect to soul, and see how we can express that through us in our own words, in a very divine, intuitive way. And that takes quiet reflection. It takes looking inside, inwards, and it takes really knowing how you sound. I usually ask people, do you know how you sound? And they go, oh, I can record myself and listen. I'm like, no. The sound of your voice comes from your heart. That's the only place it comes from. It doesn't come from your mouth, your lips, nowhere else. It comes from your heart. So what does your heart want? That's your voice. Now speak it. That's it.
Yeah. But I think for many people, it's difficult to distinguish the voice of the mind from the voice of the heart. And that's a process, again, a fine-tuning, a constant calibration, I find. And
And that's why we support, and that's why we have this work called coaching, right? And mentoring, all these things, because when you are on somebody's website or reading their copyright on their page and you're getting turned on, and you're biting your credit card, we're like, oh my God, I want to buy this because it sounds so good. It sounds so good. What you're doing is you're duct taping information and mislabeling that as transformation. So when you take information from somebody's YouTube video, from somebody's website, from their Facebook page, from their Instagram, you're duct taping information. That is not transformation. The actual process happens during coaching. All the other things, the information, and they do not give you transformation, they give you knowledge. And knowledge is very dangerous because now you think you know the thing. And no, coaching is where you get the wisdom and the discernment to process what works for you and apply that to your life and business.
Exactly. Yeah. And it definitely takes a process, because I know in today's world, people want instant gratification. I want now. I want to know now. Not now. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to work like that. No matter what coach you are getting onto hiring, it doesn't work. It really, you need to do the work.
No, and that's why one of the programs I have lasts 18 months. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
People are used to make 100K in 90 days. You can make 100K in 1 second. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. That again is information. It's a story. It's an action. It's an act. It's a receiving. It's an output. It's not transformation, because the transformation is what's going to allow you to create from a place of contentment. And then when you get the thing, allow yourself to evolve and grow so you don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Because then that breeds mediocrity.
Yeah.
And we don't want that, because that's where ego says, I've arrived. And the only time you arrive is when you're dying. That's it. So if you say you've arrived, you just wrote your death ticket, because there's nowhere else to be or go.
Yeah, and also it helps you not fall back into the old habits. So it helps you crystallize and stabilize the transformation into your being. Because when you're doing this alone, it's so easy to fall back and not even realize that you did that. But when you're working with a coach, there's the mirror who can just show you, listen, this is what you're doing. So yeah.
And the beauty about the mirror is that the coach doesn't have to say this is what you're doing. We're trained to ask the questions that have you self-reflect and self-transform and be
exactly.
Like, you tell yourself the thing and you go, oh my God. Sometimes I'm quiet in a session. It's the only place I will talk. I do YouTube videos because I like to talk. And in coaching, I can't talk. And so my clients will go on and so before I, sometimes you have to stop that conversation. But while they're, reflecting, and then they say, oh my God, I got it, MiMi, blah, blah. And they go, thank you, MiMi. And I think to myself, I literally haven't said a word, but yes, whatever things. Because, I remember my dad telling me one time, he said, you can talk to a lamppost and you get some wisdom. Because you think something is listening to you. It's you listening to yourself when you're speaking. But when you're having a conversation, it's different. And coaching is the only place where you speak and you're heard. Everything else is a conversation where somebody's waiting for you to finish so they can say what they want to say. Coaching is the only safe place where you actually, coaching is the only medium where you actually talk to someone who was born to listen to you and to hear you and to see you. Everyone in your life is always going to be just a conversation, no matter how much they love you, because they're waiting for you to finish so they can tell you the advice they have for you, tell you to leave him, to get married, to go do the thing, to quit the job. They're just waiting to tell you what to do because they think that's the best thing for you. And a coach has nowhere for you to get to, has nowhere for you to go, has nobody for you, doesn't want you to be anybody but yourself. So they sit there listening to you so that you can hear yourself, feel into your intuition, and know the thing. That's what it is. It's simple. And we have to stop trying to be somebody else to be who we are. So I always say, why do you feel like you have to be somebody else? Or what has you believe that you have to be someone else to create what you want? What if you created what you wanted? What if you didn't have to be her or like her to create the life you want? What would that feel like for you? And it's kind of like, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Why can't I just be like Beyonce? Well, what if you were just you?
Yeah.
Beyonce is Beyonce. Oprah is Oprah. Why don't you just be you? Because the world hasn't yet seen you and what God has put through you to do. So why do you want to say, God in me, be still? I'm going to go take what you gave Beyonce to give to the world and copy that.
Yeah, I'm going to be a copy, not an original. Yeah.
Yes. So don't try to be somebody else to do what you're here to do, because then you cannot do the thing. That's where the struggle comes from. And that's when we start to create problems that don't exist so that we can struggle to solve the problem that doesn't exist. We do that all the time. We do that all the time. And it happens. It's so easy. I hear people say things to me like, I need a team. And I go, so what do you need a team for? Well, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like if I had a team and I was delegating to them, what are you delegating to? You don't even know what you're doing every day. So why are you planning on hiring a team to delegate what you don't have? And what are they going to do? So maybe you don't need a team. Maybe you're tired and you need somebody to come clean your house every Saturday. And that would help you relax so you can think, so you can be. And people always are launching. I have to launch this, I have to launch this. And they're launching offers that they hate.
Yeah.
So you have this high ticket offer, you hate it. You hate it so much that you can't even stand it, but you're launching it every month. And you wonder why you're not selling it. Because you hate it.
Of course.
It's beautifully packaged, but it's not you. So you're creating all these problems that you don't have, and you're struggling to solve these problems that don't exist. And I say to you, be yourself and create better problems. I want everyone to create a bigger problem to solve. So your problem is never, I want to get a new client, or I want 30 clients in the next 10 days. That's not a problem. 30 clients in the next 10 days is a result of a problem that you solved. So the problem is probably messaging or sales conversations. That is what creates the clients. The client is never the problem. So client creation is never a problem. And I always joke that if coaches had one panic button, it would say, get me clients now, get me clients now. That's what I do. And that's not a problem. Getting clients is a solution, it's a result of solving the other problem, the real problem.
Right. Well, I just want to address this thing, being you, because we hear this, right? We hear this advice everywhere, and people don't know how to be them. It's easy to say, yeah, be you. Okay, but what does it mean? What does it mean, right? So I know that you know that my work is exactly about that, actually going, but
it's
people
deeper.
don't.
It's actually deeper.
It's being you, in the sense that being the divine being that you are, beyond your ego identity, being your true identity. But that's where this uniqueness comes from, actually, that courage to be you. And how do you hone in to that you that you don't really know, right? Because that's the process, and that's what please.
And that's why God created coaches, the angels in the world who sprinkle the fairy dust and say, your unique spirit, bring it out of you. I'm kidding. So the first 44 years of my life, I didn't even know, I was scared of me. I thought if people really knew me, they would run, they wouldn't even like me, because I did not like myself. So you cannot be you if you don't have self-love. Okay, it all starts with self-love, because you do not want to be something that you don't love. And in life, we are trained to hate certain parts of our personalities, our bodies, our physique, whatever it is. And we think that our hair is us.
Yeah.
We think our hips are us. And so if I hate my arms because they're flabby, it means I hate me. And that's not true. So until you learn to distinguish who you are outside of your physical self,
yes,
who your divine self is, you cannot love you, and you cannot be you. It's like saying to someone, they say in church all the time, you need to love your brother as yourself. If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love your brother?
Exactly.
How the hell are you going to do that?
But people like to go outside to find the problem, to solve something, whatever.
So we say, oh, you know what would help? If I go get surgery, that would help me love myself. Again, you still fix it on the physical. And you say, well, maybe if I learn 2 languages, if I go learn that, if I get that degree or that certification. No, learning to love yourself, there's so many ways to do that. And those are processes, and those are things that you do with your coach,
Yeah.
But practically, the one thing, I teach self-love classes at prisons and at women's alcoholism homes. And what I do with them is mirror work, where it's so hard for them to do this. I bring a big mirror and I put it there. And I say, look at yourself. And then they just start crying. And they go, well, sometimes they say, I've never seen myself without makeup. Or I've never looked at myself, because if I look at myself, I wouldn't have killed my ex-husband if I was looking at myself. And so I do that. Whether it's an hour, it's the most uncomfortable hour of your life. You stand there, just look into the mirror, and you start to talk to yourself. And you start to love yourself. And it's
that's beautiful.
Comfortable thing. you've ever done in your life. Where you look in the mirror, it's mirror work. You know, there are different aspects and angles of doing mirror work. But the basic one is just looking in there and seeing yourself for the first time. Touch your eyelids, touch this, like this is you. How does that feel? Like touch this. Just stand there naked and just touch this. How does that feel? Have you ever looked at yourself? This is the hand that holds the food that feeds you. This is the body that houses your soul. How can you hate the thing that just wants to love you? That's where you start. It's basic. It's not
it's a good point to start. Very good point to start.
It's
Yeah.
really you and the mirror. Because if you can't stand to see yourself in the mirror, you cannot love the you inside that you don't see.
No.
So when people say to me, I haven't looked in the mirror in 20 years because I don't like my body. And then they want to go on camera and sell a coaching offer. What do you think is going to happen? That's what I always say in my videos. It doesn't matter how much red lipstick you put on, how many red bottom shoes you own. It doesn't matter how much your bangles cost. If the girl woke up this morning and couldn't look at herself in the mirror, and now she's on camera selling the thing, she's channeling Beyonce or Oprah to sell the thing because she cannot come through and be visible. And people resonate. They know that that's fake. There's something off when they're watching you and listening to you and reading your work. It's not you. And they can't connect with you because they're not here to connect with Oprah. They're here to connect with you.
Yeah. So bottom line for being able to find your voice is to learn how to be you. And to learn how to be you is to start to love yourself. How? In different ways.
You love yourself. You cannot, we try so hard to love other people, to love our children. You cannot give what you don't have. Exactly. So I always say, pretend that you're holding a pitcher in your hand. And until that pitcher is overflowing with whatever it is, you can't pour it out. Because what we do is we all walk around with a half empty cup and we try to pour out of it so we don't drain our cup. We'll give you enough just to make your cup come to half. But no, you need to have an empty overflowing pitcher that you can just keep pouring and it keeps replenishing itself. So you cannot be yourself if you don't know how to give from overflow. You cannot create overflow if you haven't seen yourself. The first step to loving yourself is to look in the mirror, and to appreciate every single thing that you see because it wants to love you. This, we say soul expressing itself through you, we say spirit, we say God, whatever it is. This is God, period. That's it. And so when you see this, you see God. And when you see God, God is love. And then okay, so all I have is love. There's no space for anything else other than the love that's there. Everything else is a story. It's a story. So let go of the story. How do you do that? You say, I'm done. There's no process, okay? You can go pay a coach for 6 months to let go of the story, but you can choose right now to create a better one, okay? Love this because this is God expressing himself through you or itself through you, and then appreciate what you see. I do this with my daughter. She says, Mom, she rolls her eyes and says, I've been in the mirror for 2 minutes. What am I looking at? And then she's in the mirror looking at me. And I said, but look at you. She goes, I don't want to. It's weird. If you can't look at yourself, you can't express yourself because this is you. And people say, how do I find me? It's here. Touch your hair, touch your heart, touch your arm. This is you. This is what you're being. Why are you afraid to be this? This is all you have. Be it.
Yeah. But it's a process to get there, to want to do that, right? So
it can be. We can have the story that's a process to get there, or we can just say, okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's different for everyone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We
can have it as easy as we want, right?
No, it's not as easy, and also depends also on there's trauma. There's underlying trauma for all of us, whether it's sexual trauma, financial trauma, relationship trauma, death trauma. There's some people have all those traumas combined growing up. And so you have to work through the trauma. Like for me, the first 44 years of my life, I had blocked the sexual abuse, I had blocked the rape, I had blocked everything. All I was dealing with was the relationship trauma and the financial trauma. So I was trying to love myself and not understanding why I was missing parts of me and my story because I had blocked it out, because I was so ashamed of it and I resented it. And until I stopped rejecting those parts of me that had been hurt and were hurting, I stopped rejecting that and just realized this is all part of my journey. That was when I started to love myself and be me unapologetically. I hear coaches all the time saying, be yourself unapologetically. Well, if you're dealing with trauma, you're detaching that part of you from the real you. So you can't be unapologetic.
Yeah, you're rejecting it.
The story.
Yeah.
It's inner work. There's no strategy, no system, no treatment plan. It's you choosing you for the first time. And sometimes you're able to choose you because you see a coach's Instagram thing that has something that activates the thing inside of you that you aspire to be. And you think, wow, maybe she can support me on my journey.
Yeah.
And then you act from that place. You reach out to that coach and get the support that you want. That's what they're there for. They're not entertainment on social media. Don't duct tape your healing. Don't duct tape your transformation.
Yeah. And you said something that really resonated with me because it's something that I discovered about abundance these days. When you said that we all have our own way to do our business. There's no actual strategy that's gonna fit exactly you unless you make that strategy for yourself. Nobody else can give it to you like a recipe. This is it. This is how you're gonna do things. And I realized this about abundance these past days, realizing that everybody gets to that cracking the code, let's say, of abundance, and especially financial abundance, but any kind of abundance in your life is your own way. Nobody can tell you how to do it. Yeah, there are strategies and they might work for you and they might not work for you if they work for somebody else. So you need to find your own way. You need to trust yourself to step on that path and go and go and go relentlessly until you find it, and listen to your intuition on the way. Otherwise, it's not going to be your path. It's going to be somebody else's path, and you're not going to get there. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, it's really deepening connection to the essence of who you are, which means connecting to your spirit and your soul. So it always all comes back to the divine. It always comes back to that. Connect with the essence of who you are, because your true essence is not what you see. It's not what you think. Your true essence is the part of you that is so pure, so complete, and wants to embrace everything else that's happening in and with you. And that is your essence of who you are. And trust that, believe that, own that. And that's a process. And it takes as much time as you say it's going to take.
Yeah.
Everything takes as much time as you say it will take. We expand time to fit whatever it is we want. But once you connect to your true essence and connect with the divine, whoever the divine is for you, you know, I like to say that for me, the divine is obviously Jesus. But I don't care if it's Betty or Susan or whatever it is, if you have something to connect to a source that is higher than you, because you are just ego, hon. So as long as you connect to something that's higher than you, whoever that is for you, it's going to be easier to love you and trust the intuition, because we walk around the world not even knowing that we have intuition, just listening for the outside noise that's going to guide us, and nothing outside of us can guide us. That is why every single business strategy works, but it only works for you if you're aligned with it. But every one of them work, and that's why they're a strategy. They work for someone. It might not work for you because it's not aligned. You're not aligned with it. So intuition is what supports you to align with what feels good energetically for you.
Yeah, and you gotta learn how to trust that intuition, and risk it. If you don't do it, you'll never know what it is like. You never know if it was your intuition or it was your thinking mind. So you have to actually trust it, whatever it is, and just trial and error, and see, oh, this was my intuition. Oh, this was my mind talking me into some things that are not aligned. Oh, this was my intuition. I see. Okay. So you learn to recognize it.
And when it comes to really tapping into intuition, I want to say this because people define intuition in the world as fear. And so they think that gut feeling they have that something bad's going to happen with intuition. No, that's the story you've been telling yourself about bad things. Intuition does not scare you. Intuition does not stress you. Intuition loves you and guides you and connects you to your truth. The thing in the pit of your stomach that feels like, oh my God, I feel like something's going to happen. No, that's fear.
Yeah.
Because you've trained yourself to have that feeling in your gut. No, intuition is here. Trust it. And you can't trust, people say, trust your gut. How can you trust your gut if you don't know where it is? The whole time you be holding your stomach feeling that something's going to fall out, the bottom's going to fall out. No, trust your gut because your divine intuition, it settles in your gut. And your gut is where you process your food. Your gut is where joy comes from. Your gut is where the hormones that stimulate joy and happiness come from. And so for your gut to be trusted, you also have to eat and put in your body the things that keep your gut healthy, because an unhealthy gut cannot be trusted. And it all starts with what you put in your mouth, period.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients when they are having this dilemma, not knowing how to distinguish the mind from the heart, intuition from thoughts, just put yourself in a situation as if you've already made a choice. Does it feel peaceful? If it feels peaceful, that's your heart talking. It's your intuition. If it, disturbs you in any way, even excitement comes from the mind. I learned to realize.
Yes.
So you gotta have a background of peacefulness. If it's not there, it's not you. It's not for you. So I love that I was able to make that distinction in my own journey and then teach it to others.
Yeah, we need to let go of the crutches that we have, the strategies, the systems. We need all of those. My gosh, we need all of those things, but they're a crutch. The power is inside.
Yeah.
Period. It's inside. And, that's why we work with coaches, because everybody else tells us what to do. The only person that goes inside you is your coach.
Yeah. And
everybody is having a conversation with you and telling you what to do or telling you their opinion or what they think is best for you. The only person not doing that is the coach who's trained to not do that.
Yeah, because they know you are a powerful being and you have all your answers. Nobody needs to tell you what to do or what to think. But about the strategies and systems and all of that, what I see is that people rely on them instead of relying on themselves and using that as the structure to channel their own power through and bring it into the world. So what I'm saying here is that first we need to learn how to be who we are, and then see what are the strategies and systems that are aligned with us to use them. So the work starts with you knowing who you are if you want to be successful and if you want to find that voice that's unique and you want to create that website that's only you and nobody else. And I learned this the hard way. That's why, maybe not the hard way, but I put a lot of effort into digging, finding out, fumbling. I was fumbling because I didn't know how to do this. I thought I had these preconceptions about how to make business and how to make website and how to whatever. And it's not that it's wrong, but it's not aligned with me. It's not who I am. So I had to find out the hard way. That's I wanted to have this talk with you for others to shorten their path to their truth. Just make it easier somehow. Unlock something, activate something.
We all do it. We all have crutches versus what activates us. And we don't trust what activates us because we haven't discovered the deeper parts of ourselves. And I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what you look like, how beautiful you think you are or are not. The bottom line is that if you're not connected with the deeper parts of yourself, you can't connect to anything outside of you, period. You cannot, because you're not bringing 100% of you into any relationship, conversation, or business. And you always have to operate from an overflow place, or you get to operate from overflow when you connect to the deeper parts of yourself, because that gives you innate divine wisdom. That gives you courage. Being yourself is the most courageous thing you can do. You think it's chasing a lion? No, it's being yourself. If you have to, you would chase a lion. But it's less scary to chase that lion than to be yourself. Trust me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And it's beautiful to say that. It takes courage. It takes courage to step into this journey, but it's totally worth it. 100%.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to say on this topic here?
No, I just want to say that if you love what you're doing in your business and you're activated by it, and you know that divine source is expressing itself through you, then no, it doesn't have to be a struggle. And if it doesn't have to be a struggle, and it can be pleasurable, what do you desire that pleasure to look like, feel like, and experience through you? Because once you determine that, you will never go for what's hard for you. You will go for what challenges, stretches you, and expands you, not what depresses you and makes you struggle. Because that all comes from self-love. When you love yourself, you don't struggle. You challenge yourself and expand. When you don't know how to love yourself, that's when you struggle. So you can validate the results through the hard work and effort that you put in.
Yeah. So could you give an example to something that you just said feels pleasurable? How do you check? How?
Oh gosh, pleasure. So for me, going on Instagram is not pleasurable for me yet.
Yeah. Okay.
When it becomes pleasurable for me, I will go on Instagram and do that.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not pleasurable for me.
Yeah.
YouTube activates me. I love it. I love being able to talk to people, even though it's not live like on Facebook. But there's something about me being able to use my voice and share something that I love and turns me on. My blogs activate me, my email lists excite me, and I feel like there's a connection there. I don't do anything in my business that doesn't make me happy, even if it is a must do. If it doesn't light me up, I don't do it.
Right.
Because soul doesn't make me suffer.
Yeah. That's the golden rule.
If you feel validated when you do something, you just suffered.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like this. If you had to go to the next room and there was a door and all you had to do was open the door and go through, there's no validation there. You went to the door. You got the thing. But if you had to climb over the door, even though you could just open it, and then climb over the door and then jump and fall to the ground on the other side and go get the thing, oh my God, that's so exhausting. That's why people always say, I'm so stressed out. I'm so exhausted. I have 10 things to do. Why do you have 10 things to do? No human being needs 10 things to do every day. Why do you have 10 things to do?
I love that you say that. Oh my God.
Every night, and then you feel good about yourself. Why don't you just wake up knowing that you feel good because God is in you? Period. Some people say things to me like, I'm so stressed or I'm so this. I'm like, why? Well, because why?
Yeah.
Because I woke up this morning.
Exactly. Oh my God. I love that you bring this up, because I found this with some of the people that I talk to and some of my clients, or wanna-be clients, who were not willing to give up the struggle that they put in their spiritual evolution, which was not evolution, spiritual development journey, knowing that it's actually so much more easier, that they were not willing to give it up. And I understand this is not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of observation and realizing that some people, they want to choose struggle because it validates them, and they're not willing to give it up to make it easier for themselves.
We've all been there. There was a time
exactly.
There was a time when if somebody said to me, let it be easy, I'll physically assault them. I'll slap them. I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Because there's no such thing.
How dare you? But it is easy. Just we have all need buttons every day. We wake up and go, let it be easy. And then we get up. Let it be easy because we're not the ones doing the thing. And it doesn't matter how many things you do every day. You're the only one impressed by it. And when you realize that there's nobody to impress, there's nobody, yeah, if you wake up every day knowing that there's nobody to impress, because God is already impressed with you and he loves you from you. You are not going to effort yourself to create the thing. You will wake up and say, I will have what I want because I want it.
Yeah.
So what is and soul knows the fastest, the quickest, most pleasurable way to do the thing. So when I get up in the morning and I something to do that I don't know how to do, I literally just chill and go, you know what, God, the quickest, fastest, and always add most pleasurable way to get me there. Bring it on. And I sit there and do my quiet meditation and I pray. And it comes to me because every time you pray and meditate, the answer is there. You just have to be still enough to receive it. But no, if you have 10 things on your list, how are you going to receive it?
You're too busy to receive it. Yeah.
You're too busy because you think you're living on your own understanding, thinking that you know everything. You are literally perched on a rock in the whole galaxy, and you think you're the Bijnet. You're not God.
No.
You're God. God is expressing through you, and then you start to be, act, and think like. But honestly, you are like a tiny speck in the universe, and that thing that you think is a to-do list thing, you're not going to even remember it tomorrow. But hey, it makes you feel efficient. It makes you feel validated. It makes you feel like you're good. It makes you feel like you're better than everybody else because you're not lazy. No, honey, it's giving you anxiety and premature aging. That's it.
And illnesses. You're hilarious. I love how you put things so eloquently.
It's just basic stuff. I mean, I just keep it real. The lawyer in me can't like sugarcoat things. It just can't. So.
Right. That's amazing. I really hope that this discussion was valuable for anyone, basically.
It's valuable for you and me and for whoever.
I just wanted to say it was so pleasurable. I so much enjoyed it. I always enjoy talking to you. So I think we can. Thank you. It's been really great.
Have a good rest of your weekend and have fun. And I can't wait to see your videos for next week.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say the next video that I planned to do was about this struggle identification with struggle thing.
That's so funny because my little download from this morning, I think I told you before we started, was messaging and being yourself and showing up as you, because you only make impact and income when you're you.
Yeah.
You can make impact and income, but it's not the what you're meant to make in the world. You can make impact and income only when you be yourself. So be yourself, because people want you. You want you. Imagine when you're you. It's so much freedom. It's exhausting to be somebody else.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's exhausting to be somebody else.
Because somebody's gonna find out and be like, you're fake. And you're gonna feel fake. I feel like I'm a fraud. You don't feel like you're a fraud, you're just not being yourself, because there's no way you'll be a fraud if you're you.
Yeah. What I just want to say, because it's still in my heart, it activated my heart, and I feel a warmth around one thing that you said. It's that nowhere else but in your business, if you step into this and you want to do this, you're basically forced to dig out that voice, to know your voice, to know your truth in order to be able to speak it and align with your soul clients or whomever you came here to serve. So it's a bold thing to do, to put yourself out there and go on this journey. And well, it's gonna be easier, or I don't know, easier, if you just get a coach to assist you on that.
That's true.
On that path.
Business is the most confronting thing you're ever gonna do in your life. It's not parents. It's not marriage. It's not any of those things. Business.
I just want to give myself a massive congratulations and appreciation for doing this, because I wasn't so much aware of the thing that it's the only thing where you actually need to go to really dig deep and be authentic and be everything that you want to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It works, but it's not pleasurable. And that's where
Not
pleasure.
fulfilling.
What's
Yeah.
the pleasure meter? The pleasure meter is when it's working at its full capacity, not when it's half-assed. That's not working. That's just barely making it. That's when you say, I'm hanging in there, things are going okay. No, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's even when there's no money coming in, even when you have no client, are you still experiencing pleasure? That's not recklessness. That's pleasure. That's business. It's the most confronting experience you're ever going to have in your life. It's the thing that's going to make you look deep into yourself and reach down and pull the stuff that you've been so scared to see for the first time and see it and be like, I see you. Thank you. Put you down. Now let's get to business.
Ah, I love the passion that you talk about this. It's just so inspiring and
thank you.
Heart opening.
You activate that in me because you're willing to listen and hear it.
Yeah.
And that I am willing to learn from you. And that's the whole thing. We learn from each other. And as long as we're willing to learn from each other and grow together as part of a community collective, then we get pleasure from each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy this video. Please leave your comments below if you let us know if you resonate or whatever you found valuable in this video. I'm gonna just stop the recording here